Go ahead, you're recording.
Okay, welcome to our July 16th meeting, and this is our Meet the Masters week. And before we introduce our master coordinator, we always have our Dr. Shaklee moments. And I'm Joanne Boltinghouse, representing the Boltinghouse team. Jeff and Earl welcome you also. And so Trudy Hollandsmith, executive coordinator in our group, would you like to share the Dr. Shaklee moments? Unmute her, Jeff. Okay.
Okay, you're unmuted.
My Dr. Shaklee moment involves Dr. Shaklee, his My Dorothy, and Flora True. Dr. Shaklee came out on stage. He was about 88 years old at the Silver Jubilee. Figured that's about how old he was. He walked out slowly but solid. He spoke deep, not a wasted word, no hype, no show, just a solid looking individual with a black tux. And then out came his Dorothy, and they sat on a bench on the stage, and the crowd went crazy. And you could feel his compassion for us, and I'm sure he felt our compassion for him. And then he wanted to show appreciation for somebody called Flora True. And that was his little red hen also, Dr. Shaklee's little red hen, which I'll explain in a few minutes. But had the company launched in '56, it would have toppled in '58 without Flora True, because she was a loyal person, and she with her efforts, she stopped the disaster and averted a big problem for Shaklee. She joined Shaklee when Shaklee was only 2 months old. She was impressed with Dr. Shaklee. She said because he never spoke about money. She said he talked about how much good we could do for our fellow man. Now, Flora was in a direct sales business before, and it was in 1937, and she was making 70% commission on the product that she was moving. And Dr. Shaklee explained to her about the prolecithin. That's what they were going to launch their business on, and won her over with his intelligence and his product and his knowledge, and said to her, your earning opportunity would be unlimited, and you would get 35 to 40% commission and no territory limits. And she said, okay. So 2 months out, she was supervisor. In 6 months, she was making $3,000 a month. She got the very first Shaklee bonus car. He called her his little red hen because she scratched for business, and she believed in his business and believed in him. A year after she was making almost half the commissions of the company, a year later, a competitor tried to take down Shaklee and offer Shaklee distributors higher commissions. And Flora saw it as a scheme, and she said, I'm not buying it. And so what she did was, Flora said, Shaklee has superior products with integrity. She called every distributor in the area to remind them of Shaklee's superior products and integrity. She was a celebrity at Shaklee because she stopped the raid of another company stealing the distributors. So one good quality person that sees the greatness in this business can radically change your business. That was the Silver Jubilee. It was just everything you could possibly want to see when you're trying to build a business. The Dr. Shaklee was the real deal, and I needed to know that. That was my story.
Very good. Thank you, Trudy. That was, as you said that about the Silver Jubilee, I can remember sitting in that audience and seeing that very thing. And that was very exciting. Thank you for sharing that. Brings back lots of good memories, and I think it validates our heritage and our philosophy. So we appreciate that. I think that the Shaklee moments at the beginning of our calls are so important to establish who we are and remind us of our mission and our crusade to help people, and not just think about the money, because the money will always be there as long as you're doing the right thing. So thank you. Well, our Meet the Master today is Joanne Nistico, and she is from Virginia. She just moved. We have a group of 5 masters that we are kind of a mastermind team, and in the last 2 years, all 5 of us have moved. So I don't know what that tells you, but we're on the move one way or the other. But as I was getting ready and thinking about introducing Joanne, because I tend to want to tell someone's story, and I'm not going to do that. But I thought about words that I would use if I was describing Joanne to someone. And the first word I thought of was friend, because we have been friends through the years. We've been through thick and thin. We've been on committees together, and our spouses have been, and it's just been a great friendship. And the next words was kind of a phrase, a solid organization. I always know that Joanne's organization is solid. They're on the right track, and they have the right attitude. The next one was a gifted leader, because she does lead and leads by example. And the last one is teacher, and that's why she's sharing tonight. She was talking, as we were visiting the other day, she was talking about reinventing herself. You know, you move and you get into a new environment, and you're going to clean out your office, and I don't have all that clutter now, and I really feel like I can move ahead. And I was kind of getting that same feeling from Joanne. So she's going to share with us some things that she's doing. She's going to do a PowerPoint, and we'll share her screen. And so, Joanne Nistico, my friend.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm honored to be your friend. You know how highly I think of you and Earl and your Shaklee organization. You two have a loyal group of people who have led the way in building Shaklee businesses. What I'm going to share with you tonight is a PowerPoint presentation that we did for our team. So you're going to see some of what we do with our family, similar to what Joanne does with you, for you. So you'll see a picture of some of the people. And I thought, in reinventing myself, I knew I needed to also reinvent our team. But what really was not so much reinventing is reigniting our belief, reigniting our passion, reigniting our feeling and joy about what Shaklee has given us and given the many people that we have in our business. And through that reigniting and reinventing, it's all about gratefulness. You know, the gratefulness of what we have, what Dr. Shaklee, that was a beautiful story, Trudy. It brought tears to my eyes, just remembering that beauty of what energy Dr. Shaklee brought to our world and what we have available. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint. And can you see that? I have to get rid of the side slides. So let's see how I do that. All righty. Can you see my slides, everybody? Can you see the slides? How do I share my screen with you? Okay, share. All right, I see. Here it is. There we go. Now, okay. So with that, I'm not that proficient in all of this. So now I just want to make sure that I have the whole presentation up. I don't want to edit it. Okay, let me do this. I'm going to have this on the side. Sorry, everybody. Okay, the rising road. We were talking about that we're all on a rising road. I hope you all feel that for your businesses. And if you're feeling a little bit that it isn't, I just recently completed a certified coaching program to become a certified coach. It was really more because I wanted to improve my coaching ability with my team. And what my coach taught me was that state is everything. So if we don't manage our own states, someone else is going to manage it for us. So it's really important that we look at the state that we are building for ourselves. And I had to reignite and reevaluate my state and what I was doing and how I was leading our team and how Terry and I were working going forward, because moving was very distracting and I felt a little disoriented. I don't know if any of you ever feel disoriented or a little off track, but that's the way I was feeling. So I had to work on refocusing, re-getting my state. And so the State of the Union, we wanted to talk about the state of an organization. Now, you're all very much a part of an organization. You're a part of a strong organization, a good family. And then as we work with the state of ourselves, we're going to work together as a team to develop the momentum, to develop the reigniting of our organization. So the Boltinghouse State of the Union is reigniting, reevaluating the state of yourselves and the state of the organization to lift it up. So I was calling it the rising road. Then, of course, nothing can be done without Dr. Shaklee being brought in the forefront. The golden rule, doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. All of these principles was really what sold me on Shaklee. It wasn't the money. I needed the money. I wanted $50 a week extra when I started my Shaklee business. I wasn't a big thinker at the time. I thought, well, if I could supplement my gas in my car, I was in my early 20s. But his thoughtsmanship and his view on, what you think you look, what you think you do, what you think you are, being in harmony with nature, my future will be exactly what I decide to make it. All of that's so related to me. And I look for people and encourage people to embrace that. And that's who I want as part of my Shaklee family and business. Then we looked at high achiever business practices. We were talking to our group. So if we're going to reignite and reinvent, you want to model the best. So OPA, which is Organic Products Associates, which was started by Mary Loomis and Rob, and the Boltinghouses have one of the larger Shaklee businesses, always have. But what we decided that all of our big businesses and master businesses keep the same principles, and that's keep the family training and leadership together. So you keep the Boltinghouse training and leadership together. You follow your mentor who has proven success. There's too much stuff out there. Would you agree, anybody? Nod your head if you agree that there's too much stuff. I want to simplify and follow your lineage, follow the family trust, stay close to home. There's so many weird things going on out there that I said, I'm circling the wagons. Let's bring the family together. Let's bring the organization together and follow the group training and processes. And Joanne and we and Earl have been similar in our kind of trainings and teachings of how we built our business, because it's always built on foundation. How many of us have been so annoyed at all the people that are walked across the stage as the latest, greatest stars, and they're not here next year, or they're not here in 2 years, when those really strong people like us who have the strongest foundations and we have the highest integrity always stay around, because we know the foundation is what has kept this business and this company to be as large and as strong and longevity that it has. Now I just want to talk about some of the new people that have come in. This gentleman, we talk about faith, family, business, and fun. John DeGaynor is the president and CEO of Stone Ridge, a publicly traded transportation equipment supplier. He's a Shaklee family man, and he's the national champ in vintage racing group. Jeff, you might like that car. I think it's pretty neat. He is not a Shaklee builder. His mother-in-law is the senior executive coordinator in our business. His wife is a senior coordinator, and he shared understanding the value of what Shaklee means to a family. And this message of his, you can take to any person that you speak to, because what are the values to a family that you might introduce Shaklee to? Well, he talked about the value of the nutritional supplements and what it has done for his family. Of course, his wife was raised in Shaklee nutrition, and she's a gorgeous model type woman. The children are very healthy. But what he also valued was his wife building a business so his daughters could see how entrepreneurship and how building a business is functioning, because they can't understand or see what he does in business. So he loved the value of what having an in-home business and building a business that provides training for leadership, training for communication, training for how to handle a sale and money was of great value to himself and his family because of what it taught his children. Then we had Mary Kay Neeland. I featured her as a speaker because she's called MK Shine. She is a nutritional, integrative nutritionist. She's a 10-year Shaklee consumer. She's under the Gainer line. And she finally took a look at Shaklee because she was doing integrative nutrition, not making the kind of income that she needed to, and she was using the products. So she decided to use a three-pronged approach to health. And actually, one of her clients said to her, when she was sending her client to her sister to buy Shaklee products, her client said, "What are you doing that for? Why don't you represent it?" So how often have you felt shy about sharing Shaklee nutrition and sending them to talking about someone else? So she decided to stand tall with her Shaklee product. And what I love about her is she has reinvented herself and she's branded herself newly. And that was one thing that I talked to Joanne Boltinghouse. I had to rebrand myself. I got in at 23 years old when I started Shaklee, so I needed to rebrand myself to who is Joanne today in Shaklee? What do I represent? And how do I want to present myself out in the world today? So that I like to journal, make notes. So if you need to rebrand and rethink yourself, do it in your own authentic way. And I'll talk about that in a minute. She has a program that she has called Delish Talks. She's featured that from the beginning, and that's how she started people. She went out as a new director, runs over 3,000 volume, went to the New Directors Conference, and has been a star achiever purely by working on one program. And it's interesting because it ties into what you're going to see in Las Vegas. But she's done such a good job with it on Facebook and in person that she went to a store the other day and someone goes, "Are you Mary Kay Neeland? Are you Delish Talks?" She goes, "I'm one of your clients." And she didn't even know her, but that's all because she branded herself on something. So you need to kind of take a look at how do you want to brand yourself? How do you want to proceed, whether you're an individual building the business or whether you have a partner that's working with you. Sort of play games with yourself on who you are and how you want to brand yourself. And I'm going to talk a little bit further about that. Then we discussed Bill Lauer. Bill Lauer has been using Shaklee products for 25 years under one of our first levels. Bill just recently, at 84, won all 6 of his events and broke 3 records, set 2 records in events that hadn't been competed in yet at his age group, and he's going to compete the World Master Championships in South Korea in early August. Now, what's interesting about this is, what happens is every time that Shaklee features the Olympians, look at what a longtime Shaklee product consumer can achieve and at the age of 84. And when he travels, he takes with him the Vitalizer Gold, his hydrate products, his protein products, and he travels with them. So it's a good testament to share stories like this. How many of you tell stories when you talk to Shaklee people? Because we have a saying, stories sell, facts tell. So it's really important to share those stories. The next person we had discussing Shaklee. And this, I think, is what gets back to reinventing yourself and reigniting yourself, is being you, being authentic to your message. This woman, I reacquainted myself. I met her when she first got into Shaklee, maybe about 9 years ago. She became a director, kind of struggling at 2000. I was in Florida visiting a first level, and she came to one of the events that was hosted. And we got reacquainted. She's a doctor of sociology. She's a Shaklee business leader. She's a certified Pilates coach, and she works with breast cancer exercise specialist. And she's an integrative nutritionist, certified health coach, struggling with her Shaklee business. So as we were talking, I was talking to her about reinventing myself and rebranding myself and how I had to take a fresh look and being my authentic self. Because she was saying, I've tried to build my business as other people have told me I should do it. And I've never been comfortable promoting Shaklee that way. And I said, well, no one succeeds when you try to do it someone else's way. Yes, you have to follow certain processes, a simple plan, follow the process that we teach, but do it in your own authentic self. Do it from your heart. Do it from who you feel you are. So don't think you can't be a Joanne Nistico, Joanne Boltinghouse, Jeff Boltinghouse, or Frank Fry. Who you can be is the best you, and work at being the best you, and that will come across to people, and you'll see that the doors start to open with new customers, new people interested, because there are so many people that need what we have. And when I was talking to her, she was promoting Pilates a lot. I said, well, why aren't you promoting your health coach and integrate the whole simple plan and process together when you talk to people? Because recognition didn't motivate her. The money didn't motivate her. What motivated her was helping people. So I said, forget about thinking about the money. Think about all the lives that you're touching. And Mary Loomis always said, we do well by doing good. And that's what really motivated her and turned her around. So her business, and I'm coaching her a half an hour each week. And she's an excellent student in that we discuss who she's talking to, how she's talking to people, what results she had. She started to create using the 5-tab notebook. I know Joanne talks about the 5-tab notebook. She's actually applying the 5-tab notebook now. She's doing her vision board of what expectations and intentions she has. And those are all of the things that we have to get back to. So it's reinventing ourselves, but going back to some of the stuff that really does work. Because if you think that it didn't work fast enough at some point, maybe you just weren't authentic enough for your own way of how you were approaching it. We talked about the website updates. Boy, wasn't that a labor of love to try to get through that. I mean, my gosh, I don't think there has been a more stressful time in going through something, in transitioning, talking about reinventing ourselves. My Lord, we needed to do this, and it wasn't going to be easy, but we reinvented how our website works and functions so it's more current and more appealable. It's more appealing to people and easier to use. So we have new account access for distributors, health print and share attribution, updated order confirmation, and notice of downline activity emails, price tier and product detail pages, generate labels, feature fix, show hide password, 7-day notice of auto ship, forget email. I don't know about you, but I haven't even touched a tip of the iceberg on this thing, but I'm still running a good business. So don't get too caught up in thinking you have to figure it all out before you can talk to people. And I'm sorry I don't know the name of the person who did the follow-up testimony. Isn't that great? One follow-up, just one touch, created a good sale and a good product. It's not that she had to do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. She just had to care about one person, and it produced results. And I have found that people don't care how much you know, they want to know how much you care. So Shaklee Business, when you go to the global conference, you're going to be so stoked because they're simplifying. They're simplifying. There's like 4 really simplifications. There's big shipping improvements that are coming, freer flat rate. There's simplicity of membership and distributorship. Amen. I'll hear hallelujah on that one. We don't have to go try to figure it out. I'm so glad. I am so ADD. I never figured it out. So they had to change it just so I could figure out how to sponsor someone again because the membership was so complicated. I thought anyway. Anybody else feel that way? You know, are you this, that one, or that, or the other one? This is going to simplify, simplify, simplify. So sponsoring is going to go up. And that's what you have to think about. And then they're going to have special promotion for new members to receive free membership, free product, and free shipping. So there's some great, great things that are coming up for everybody. And I'm just going to congratulate. We had some really good activity, sponsoring and OV and PG increases. So these are just some of the star achievers on our Gen team that we're very privileged and proud to have working the business. And they have never lost sight of their vision. They've had tough times, every single one of them. All of us have tough times, but they have reignited themselves. And then we congratulate a Leadership and Spirit Award. I know many of you might know Donna Titus. She's a first level of ours, and this is her Shaklee family, so we recognized and appreciated all of them. And then we had our upline presidential master. She's my immediate upline, Carolyn Whiteman, discussing legacy and longevity, leverage and leadership development. Everyone probably on this call, or most people, you have legacy and longevity. And that is a beautiful gift. And we have to share that gift. We have to be proud of that gift because it's not that we're old. It's only that we have really laid the foundation for this great company and have all the wisdom and strength to share with others. So be proud of that as you go forward. Leverage yourself in terms of our time commitment and enjoy and have fun with what you do. Don't make it be work. People don't want more work. They want more fun in their lives. So add the leverage of fun in your business and seeing how that can be integrated to seeing you move up and grow. And then leadership development. That will all happen and occur if you follow your process, if you follow your mentor, if you don't get distracted by every new widget, every new idea, and every other person that you think will make you do it, help you do it faster. And think of the tortoise and the hare, because in truth, we need to build a strong foundation. So what I'll end with is, we have talked to our group about think volume, think new people. You know, as you walk around, think new people, think volume. You don't have to think too much, but think of those 2 things and you'll see your business growing. So Joanne, thank you so much. I always love talking to your group and I appreciate all that you do in Shaklee.
Okay, thank you, Joanne. That was outstanding. I love the stories. That's, you know, you are really right. Stories sell and facts tell. And that's why the newsletter that Trudy was showing earlier before we started recording, that has so many stories, so much good information in it. And I just really appreciate it. That's really great. I don't know if anybody has any comments or questions before we go on and finish up with the Bolt sheet. So if you want to say something, either go in the chat and let Jeff know, or you can maybe unmute yourself for a question or a comment. You want to say amen? I agree with you 100%. That's okay. Any comments? Okay, Barbara, did you have your hand up?
Trudy.
Okay, Trudy.
How are you rebranding yourself?
I just basically, how am I was really deciding that I had to become a better coach. So I took a class And in that class, I decided that it gave me ideas on who is Joanne Nistico. I mean, how does she approach her business? And I started out as a yoga teacher, and I went back to what I had left and took a look at how I like to coach and teach. And that is how I rebranded myself. And so I did get someone to redo my website. My daughter actually encouraged me, so I talked with her. I wanted a more youthful viewpoint on who I was, and she actually took the Coach Training Alliance program with me. So that's basically in talking with my daughter and determining how I wanted to do that. I just started brainstorming with her, discussing it with some friends, and that's how I did it.
I'm not sure if everybody really thinks about or has thought about what rebranding means. What rebranding means is really becoming what you want to be or should be. A company will rebrand if they want, well, for an example, Shaklee's had several different logos in the 48 years that we've been in Shaklee. And every time they've done a new logo, they kind of rebrand and look at, we were just a nutrition company, and then when Dr. Shaklee came out with the cleaning products, that was kind of a rebranding and expansion. I look at rebranding myself is that I'm not running a store as much as I'm being a resource person and helping people get their products, talking with them, coaching. I've done a lot more talking to people, and I have reasons to call them. And sometimes I didn't think about calling people, but now I have more of a reason. So that's really kind of what rebranding is, figuring out who you want to be and how you want people to look at you at your business. Am I on track there, Joanne?
Yeah, that's totally it, Joanne. Thank you. And we have to, if it's not working, I have a saying that if it's working, continue doing it. If it's not working, you need to change it. So I'm very quick to change something. I mean, I'll give it maybe 2 or 3 months. And if I see that it isn't working and I don't feel good, I'm not in that authentic state and I'm feeling kind of squirmy, I make a change. And I'll say, okay, well, even small, simple changes. So let's say how you ask yourself, I'll go back to the woman who said she hasn't done any follow-up. That kind of, it's Linda, I think, was the one who said that. That's kind of like rebranding herself because she's not following up. So she's now a follow-up. Her new brand is I'm the follow-up lady. That's my new brand of who I am. So that's the kind of thing, is making those tweaks and those changes that produce the kind of results that you want to see. And I have seen it in the sense that the people that I'm working with, the calibers are the people that you saw that I featured. So my time spent with people has changed as well. So those that I am coaching now, the caliber has increased dramatically because of my rebranding myself.
Yeah, you tend to attract who you are. And as you elevate and improve yourself, you will attract people that think like you. So as you change your thinking, you attract people that think like you.
Yeah, I love the follow-up lady. I think that's a term I'm going to use with some of our team. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, very good. Anyone else have any comments or questions?
Barbara, did you have something you were going to say earlier?
Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought
Frank?
you did.
Okay, Frank, you have any?
No, I just wanted to say it was excellent. I really enjoyed the presentation, Joanne.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
I think I will say one thing, and it goes along that lines of follow up a little bit. I think it's just contact, reach, whatever method that is that you do. And I'm a big believer in doing something over and over and over again until you find out it doesn't work. Things like birthday cards and Christmas cards. I just ordered my Christmas cards today for my primary business, but I send them to my Shaklee people too. I found that is something that creates results. And then, a thing somebody told me years ago is make at least one phone call every day. It's kind of like the one invite type thing, but it was taught to me about make a phone call a day to somebody in your business, because it's amazing how you get on the phone with somebody and you don't know where it's going to go, but when you do talk to people, then all of a sudden different things pop up, or they have questions, or they ultimately say, "Well, I've been meaning to call you in a long time," or I've got a question about that product. Another thing is sending out, newsletters or whatever it is that you feel is good for you. But I found that, and I've still been a big MindWorks person over the last few years, and so everybody new that comes to an organization, I send them a letter on MindWorks. And it's the most consumed product in our organization. And I think it's because that's what we talk about all the time. So,
Frank, would you send me that letter?
Yeah, it's not very,
That's all right. I just sent out a newsletter, and newsletters worked for me. It built my business.
Yeah.
I sent out 200 of them. And
Yeah,
prior to that, I sent out 200 postcards to all of the people that I have on my list, showing them where I moved to. So and you know what? Emails, everybody's getting lots of email, but you're not getting as much mail these days. So it's more noticed.
Right. And people and one thing that I did a number of years ago, I sent out, and if they didn't send it to me, I called them, but I have every sales leader and a couple of builders that I have gotten close to, but every sales leader, I have their birthday, and if they're married, their anniversary and their spouse's birthday. And I'll go in and buy 50 birthday cards, and they look at me like they think I'm crazy, but I try to get them so that I can do them month by month. And we send out a birthday card or a anniversary card to everyone in on our recaps. And I do think it makes a difference. I know Trudy's husband, Dennis, one time said to me, "Thank you for the birthday card, Joanne, because sometimes my own family doesn't send me one." And I think with today's, I used to get cards, and then my grandkids called me, and now they text me. Now, some of them still call, but it's kind of interesting. To me, texting is kind of the easy way out. But most of them called. I think I only had one that texted me. But my birthday being on the 4th of July, they can't forget. It's not like they can say, "Oh, I forgot. What day is Grandma's birthday?" But anyway, those things are important, I think, in keeping the family and the sense of community and unity. Because I know we used to have people come to our meetings. They built a little business, but they loved to come to the meetings. They like the snacks and they like the companionship.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, oh, Linda just said my kids text or do email, so I always appreciate birthday cards from Frank.
Yeah, did you get my card, Joanne?
Yes, I did. I got your card. Hey, we did get our Shaklee package today. It had been sent to Harlan, and they did get it rerouted, and so we did get it today. Okay, Jeff is going to wrap up with our bolt sheet, and take it away, Jeff.
All righty, let's see if I can find it here. There we go. Okay, can you all see it? Oh, where'd it go? There it goes. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, first, one thing I want to address before I do this real quick is I would suggest everybody start sending your newsletter out, even if you only have 4, 5, 6 people in your group. Get in the habit of doing your newsletter. And people like that context. So anyway, I'm going to do this real quick, go over the Bolt sheet, kind of set up the context again. This is after somebody's already agreed to take a look at what we do. And they say, well, what's the next step? Well, I sit down with them with the Bolt sheet, and I'm going to ask them questions throughout this presentation, but I'm going to talk to them about the Shaklee lifestyle and what is Shaklee, and I'm going to kind of use this just to walk through. First of all, I'll talk to them about what is Shaklee. Well, Shaklee's the nation's leading natural nutrition company in the United States. We're the #1 company. We've got $300 million in research, and we've been around since 1956. Dr. Shaklee was actually the first person to come up with a multivitamin with the vitalized minerals. And we've been published in 125 peer-reviewed journals, which nobody else can say that. So Shaklee is a nutrition company, and we're actually the first company that also was certified climate neutral. You know, everything right now with the green movement and everything, we want to be climate neutral. We don't want to leave a carbon footprint. And this is stuff that you can't buy. Shaklee was awarded this. We're the very first company ever certified climate neutral. And then the thousands and tens of thousands of tests that we do. Shaklee's also paid out over, it says $7 billion, but I believe it's $8 billion now in bonuses. And since 1956, there's never been a check that didn't clear. They always clear, never bounced, always paid on time. Shaklee's a legacy company. We're a company that's been around for 63 years. I got a lot of friends in a lot of different MLM companies through associations and different things. And it's amazing how many of them have been in 4, 5, 6 companies, because they'll get into a company and they'll start it, and the next thing they know, it's out of business or it's folded, or they did away with the downline pay and now they're a unilevel company. So Shaklee's a legacy company that's been around for 63 years. Now the Shaklee lifestyle is basically in these 5 different, we divide it into these 5 different categories. One is health. We're a health company. We make you feel better. As a matter of fact, I'll talk to that in a little bit about the products, but we guarantee you'll feel better. No other company does it. When's the last time you went to the doctor and got a prescription and it didn't work and he gave you his money back? It just doesn't happen. We guarantee you'll feel better. Shaklee provides an opportunity for income, an unlimited income, and I'll go over that real quick on the stair steps. And the neat thing about not only having the income, because I've got a lot of friends that make very good incomes, but they don't have time to go spend it with their kids or their grandkids, or to take time off to do this or that. So Shaklee not only provides a great income, we provide you the time to enjoy that income. And then the tax benefits of an in-home business are second to none. And bottom line is, we're a company with a purpose. That goes back to the first climate neutral company, natural nutrition. We're a company that does have a purpose. And if you're looking at building a business, a company with a purpose is something that the millennials and the Gen Z, or whatever they call the new people. I get all mixed up with these Gen Z, Gen X, millennials, whatever. The young people are looking for companies with a purpose. They want a company that stands for something. So if you look at the bottom there, you see the different products, the health, nutrition, the cleaners, the personal care. Those are our basic, the sports nutrition. Those are our basic lines of products. We're a health nutrition company. Now, people say, well, how do I get started? What do I do? Well, there's different levels you can get involved with. If you're just interested in feeling good, you want to take advantage of the products and you want to feel good, you get in at the participation level as a member and you save about 15%. But I know you said you were looking at a business. You're worried about, and I'll use the example I used last week, you're worried about how are you going to pay for your kids to go to college in 4 years? You know, you said your kids were 13 and 14 and you're going to have college bills coming up and you really don't know how you're going to pay for it. Well, then you want to get into the business development level, because in 4 years, if you're willing to invest 30 to 60 minutes a day to kick this off and get it started, we can show you how to build a business that's going to create that kind of an income. Now, the business development levels are simple. You become a distributor. That's anywhere from 25 to 35 customers buying the products from you. I mean, director. But to become a senior director, coordinator, senior coordinator, and on up, and at this point, I would ask them to look at it and tell me, you know, what kind of income are you looking at, you know, in 4 years? Would $65,000 a year help take care of your kids or grandkids? You know, what their why is or their purpose is. And I'm kind of flying through this fast right now. But anyway, I go through that. Let me move this over here because I got my pictures in the way on my screen, and go through that and what kind of income do you want? Because this is a simple duplication company. But now after I get through this part, they says, well, what's the next step? Well, Shaklee's like any other company that's successful over a long term, over 63 years. Do you not think if our products didn't work and didn't do what we say they would do, we wouldn't be in business for 63 years with people ordering month after month after month? I know my mom, the first Shaklee meeting she did back in 1971, or that she hosted, she didn't do it. Actually, Mavis came out and did the 6-hour marathon on what Shaklee has to offer. But out of those 8 ladies that were there, every one of them that is still alive and living buys products every single month. So that's where the income comes from, is a long-term, over and over and over repeat business. I mean, stop and think of what a customer that buys $100 a month every month for 40-some years has meant in value. So anyway, kind of back to what's the next step? We need to have a planning session. But first of all, before you think about building a business, you need to understand and believe in the products. So what we do, and this ties into what's coming up with at the conference, is if you take a protein product and you take the Vitalizer, the Life Strips, and you take it for 30 days, we guarantee you will feel better. So here's what you do is you take these products for 30 days, we guarantee you feel better. If you don't, I'm going to give you your money back and we'll part ways. And like I used to tell my friends when I got started, you know, try my products. If you like them, I'd love to have you as a customer, or in this case, because you're looking at a business, I'd love to help you build a business. If you don't like them, I'll give you your money back and I'll never bother you again. So what do you have to lose? And in that 30 days now that you're trying the products and you're going to get to know them, what we need to do is we need to set another appointment. We need to sit down and do a planning session on how you're going to make this work and what we can do to support you, because we've got a 63-year track record of proving that Shaklee works. There's all kinds of people running all around the world that have made a lot of money and helped a lot of people feel better. And that's the key to it, is you got to help a lot of people, and we can show you how to do that. So there we go. I did that pretty quick. That was about a 7-minute version, but it's actually easier when you're talking to people and asking them questions rather than me go through like a lecture. But those that have seen me on here the last 3 weeks doing this, you'll see I never do it the same. It's always a little bit different. I use that bolt sheet for an outline, and then I'm going to tailor it to the person that I talk to. So
Great job, Jeff. I love the presentation.
I loved it too.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Joanne, do you have the meeting every week? Do you have this every week?
Yeah, every week, every Tuesday night. Normally, we don't have a speaker. We decided once a month we're going to have a master. But in that slot where you spoke today, we have 2 people do a product testimony. They can do information on the product. They can tell a story about the product, whatever they want. And we have 2 products. And so when people come to this meeting, they're going to hear about Shaklee. And that's where we do the Dr. Shaklee moments, and somebody different does it. And then we have 2 people from our group do the products. And then we've been doing Gary Burke's 8-session leadership. And I've been doing a little session on that leadership. I've made an outline of those 8 sessions. And so I've been doing one of those, just as what is a leader and what do we need to do. And that's only about 10 minutes. And then Jeff finishes with the bolt sheet. And we made the decision to have him do that so that as part of training, they can see the same person can do it over and over again and not do it necessarily the same, but gets the same results.
Have you thought about having each one of these people on the call do it one night? So
We will, eventually we will.
That's coming.
That's coming.
I was just going to warn them about that this is going to go on about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe, of me doing it. And then they should be comfortable with it. And you got to remember, everybody here is supportive. Nobody's going to criticize them or anything. So y'all get ready.
Well, you know, I have your mom recorded doing it to our group, and someone transcribed it. So we have your mom's, so if you want that, someone's outlined it in a script form. So if you have some timid people out there that want to see it, I'm happy to share it.
Okay, let's wrap up. And if you want to stay on for a few minutes, I've got a couple of things to say. But you want to, thanks everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And those of you going to the conference, we'll see you there and have a great time.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Right.